Welcome back to Remote Work Essentials. I'm James. You've got your workspace set up. Now, let's talk about the technology. This is what makes remote work possible. Here's the thing. You don't need the most expensive gear, but you do need reliable gear. Nothing tanks your credibility faster than, "Sorry, can you hear me now?" 5 times in a meeting. I'll start off with a key component of this video. Leave me some thoughts or questions in the comments on this. I'll take a look at everything and try to get you an answer. If there are some common themes, I'll add an episode for any of the topics that come up. I want to try to specifically answer those topics. Let's get to building your tech stack. Your internet connection is the foundation of everything you do in remote work. If your internet is unreliable, nothing else matters. What you actually need for basic remote work, email, documents, video calls, you're going to need a download speed somewhere around a minimum of 25 megabits per second. 50 or more is ideal, because it helps ensure that when things slow down or get bogged up, it'll be okay. Upload speeds, 10 megabits per second minimum, probably more like 20 is ideal. Where this matters is video calls, right? Upload speed is what most people forget about. When you're on a Zoom call or Teams, you're uploading your video and your audio. Low upload speeds mean you'll freeze or stutter or look choppy to others. Test your speed now. You can go to speedtest.net or fast.com and run a test. If you're below the numbers we just talked about and you're having issues, call your internet provider and discuss it. Maybe it's something with their service. Maybe it's something at home. But it's worth it. This is your work infrastructure. You may need to upgrade. It would cost more, but I assure you that $30 to $50 more per month is worth that expense if you're using it 40 hours a week. Wi-Fi versus Ethernet. When you can, connect your computer directly to the router with an Ethernet cable. It's faster, it's more stable, and you won't have random dropouts during some important meetings. If you need to use Wi-Fi, put yourself as close as possible to the router. Walls and floors and distance all degrade Wi-Fi signals. So if you have a large home, maybe consider investing in a Wi-Fi mesh system. Backup internet plans. No one tells you that you really should have a backup plan for your internet if you're a remote worker. My recommendation, keep your phone's mobile hotspot information handy. Know how to enable it, or consider an upgrade if it's prevented from working on your current plan. Test it before you need it in a panic. If your home internet goes down during a critical meeting, you can tether your phone, jump back in, and get going. Some people keep a mobile hotspot or a second internet provider. That might be overkill, but if your job is fully remote and your income depends on it, it's worth considering. It's what I do. All right, let's talk computers and essential hardware. Your computer. You probably already have a laptop or desktop. Most places that are full-time will issue you a device when you hire on. So this may not apply to all of you. If you're buying or determining whether your device works well, let's talk details. Right now, for most remote work, you're going to need something that has, so in the processor, probably an Intel i5 or i7, especially if you do heavier things like video editing or larger media manipulation. RAM. So you're going to want at least 8 gigabytes. 16 is probably a better safe baseline. Storage. You really want an SSD. So you'll probably see this in listings online. But the difference is a solid state drive is way faster than a hard disk drive, an HDD. If the computer is going to take 5 minutes to boot up, or it freezes when you have a lot of tabs open, it's probably time to upgrade. A slow computer costs you time. It's going to lower your feeling of professionalism every single day you encounter a problem. An external monitor. If you're using a laptop, this isn't required, but it is a game changer for productivity. Having 2 screens means you can have your video call on one and your notes on the other. Nothing is hidden from you. It doesn't need to be something fancy. A 24-inch 1080p monitor is maybe $100, $150, sometimes less if you can find a good deal, and will make a huge difference. Don't forget to put it at eye level. For your webcam, most laptops have built-in webcams. They're fine. They're not great, but they're functional. If you're on video calls a lot and you want to look more professional, consider an external webcam. Generally speaking, Logitech makes some very solid ones. They come in a wide range from the C270 to the Brio 4K. Position the webcam at eye level. Nobody wants to look up your nose. Stack books under your laptop or your monitor if you need. Microphone and audio. Remember, audio quality matters more than video quality on calls. People will tolerate grainy video, but bad audio is unbearable, or worse, unusable. Your built-in microphones work fairly well with software updates that Teams, Zoom, and Meet, or Slack support now. A webcam, like the ones discussed above, often have built-in microphones that are a little better quality. For an extra dose of professionalism, you could upgrade to a USB microphone from brands like Razer, Audio-Technica, and there are several others that make very fine quality. For listening, any decent headphones will work. I mentioned this before, but noise-canceling headphones are absolutely worth it if your environment has any noise at all. Now let's talk about the software tools you'll use every day. Your company probably provides most of these. But you should know what's out there, and if you're new, consider a temporary subscription to familiarize yourself so you'll be up and running on day one with your new employer. Communications tools. You'll likely be using a combination of tools in a variety of categories. I'll go over some common players here, but let me know in the comments if you have specific platforms you use or want answers. Instant messaging. Slack, Microsoft Teams, Google Chat, Discord. This is where day-to-day communication happens. You'll use these most of all in relaying information to team members, providing updates, making personal connections with your colleagues. Learn the keyboard shortcuts, the notification settings, and how threading works in conversations. Shortcuts are faster. They are a preference, but people who use them are typically faster to complete a task. It's up to you if you like them. Notification settings. Remote work means a lot of communication. You will need to learn to adjust the settings on your communications so that you aren't being notified of the things that don't matter, and you are being notified about the things that do. You want the ability to review other messages routinely, but not interrupting your day. Conversation threading. So different apps use slightly different methods for threading conversations. Spend some time studying the app you think you will be using if you're not familiar. It will save you a lot of time later on and probably avoid some faux pas. We'll talk more about communications best practices in episode 4, but let's keep rolling with the tools for now. Email. Outlook, Gmail, whatever your company uses. Still an essential form of communication in the formal sense. Key word here is formal. Learning to use email versus messages is kind of critical to getting the right amount of gravity with the message you're sending. Learn how to use filters and rules to manage the volume of messages you're getting. If you're unfamiliar with rules in Outlook or filters in Gmail, these will help cut down on any noisy traffic that you tend to receive. They're also kind of handy for those ads that you can't seem to unsubscribe from. Not everything needs to be an email. We'll talk about what to use when in episode 4. Video conferencing. This is Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, WebEx. Test your audio and video before an important call. Learn when your microphone and or camera are truly on so you can avoid making mistakes in a live meeting. Learn the basics. Mute and unmute. Learn how to screen share. Virtual backgrounds, how to make it look better. You will certainly need to know how to activate the microphone and or the camera. And it's a good idea to practice screen sharing with a friend or a colleague if you expect to do this often. You can make yourself look very professional by being a skilled screen sharer and presentation manager. Virtual backgrounds. Generally, using a blur or a company-approved virtual background is considered the most aesthetically pleasing. But this does depend on your workspace. If you have a nice workspace, don't be afraid to show it. Know where the leave meeting button is. Trust me, you'll need it. If you're hosting a meeting, learn how to end the meeting for everyone and save that awkward signing off speech that always happens. Project management. So depending on your role and or your company, you might be working with software like Asana, Trello, Monday, Jira, Notion, Azure DevOps. A whole host of tools have been created for managing work. Each of these has a specific best use case, and learning to operate in one does not necessarily mean you can operate well in others. There are some common themes, but expect a learning curve if you're kind of first stepping into your employer's project management software. File sharing and collaboration. These are tools like Google Drive or OneDrive or SharePoint, Dropbox, Box, or even like remote drive storage solutions at your company. Take time to learn how to share files, set permissions, and collaborate in real time inside of documents. Working in shared documents is a core remote work skill. It's worth practicing. Password Manager. If you aren't familiar, these are tools that help you keep track of the passwords and accounts that you use. You're going to have dozens of accounts and passwords in remote work, so it's worth it to use these secure tools to help keep you organized. Use them. Seriously. Many organizations now offer password managers as part of their standard software on devices, but just in case yours isn't, you should consider something like 1Password, LastPass, or Bitwarden. All are good choices, and this also helps you keep that old adage about never reusing passwords true. I know it's annoying, but let the manager generate secure passwords and have the manager store them. Your future self may well thank you for not being one of those stories about a new hack. Let's talk about security, because working from home means you're responsible for protecting company data. A VPN, that's a virtual private network. Your company might require you to use a VPN. It encrypts your internet connection and makes it behave like you're connecting from the office network for the company. If your company provides a VPN, use it. Always. Especially if you're ever working from a coffee shop or other public Wi-Fi. If your company doesn't require a VPN, but you want extra security, you could consider putting a personal VPN like NordVPN or ExpressVPN together. There are free versions out there, but you'll probably need to do some configuration to make it work. And all of these personal options may or may not work with your company. They may have implications for like systems that you access for your remote work. So take the conversation up with a supervisor or someone like that if you're unsure. Two-factor authentication. Turn this on for everything. Your email, Slack, bank accounts, everything important. Two-factor authentication means even if someone gets your password, they can't log in without the second factor. Usually, it's a code from your phone. Use an authenticator app like Google Authenticator or Authy. SMS codes are better than nothing, but authenticator apps are more secure. These can be annoying to maintain, I know. But if your primary method of earning your money is online, you really cannot afford to be taken offline by a security incident. Recognizing phishing. You're gonna get fake emails pretending to be from IT, your boss, reputable companies, or vendors. Some red flags to look out for. Urgent language. Your account will be locked is a classic example. Asking for passwords or personal information. No professional IT will do this. Third, weird sender addresses. Look at that address. Check it carefully. Similar to addresses, links that don't match where they claim to go. So if you hover in most browsers, you'll see the real URL it's linking to down below. If those don't match, don't click. Contact the person directly if it's someone you know through a different channel to confirm. If you can't confirm, no action is better than a risky one. Home network security. Change your router's default admin password. It sounds silly, but you really should. Use WPA3 or WPA2 encryption. They're pretty standard now, but don't use WEP. It's old and it isn't particularly secure. All right, let's talk about what happens when things go wrong. Because, let's be honest, eventually the odds are that they will do that. When that happens, knowing what you need to do ahead of time changes the game. Back up everything. Your computer will crash eventually. Your hard drive will probably fail eventually. It's not an if, it's a when. It's part of the life cycle of a computer. It just happens. Use cloud backups. So if you can, use something like Backblaze, Carbonite, or your company's backup solution. Automatic, continuous backup of everything is best. Local backups are another backup method. External hard drives with Time Machine if you're using Mac, or file history if you're using Windows. These are useful, but be mindful of the amount of space that they're taking up, and either plan to buy inexpensive storage. Keynote here. Make sure you're permitted by your company to do this, because if you don't, you may be violating a security rule. So make sure you check with your IT professionals. If you're not using Google Drive or OneDrive, where everything automatically is saving to the cloud, start. Don't keep important files only on your laptop. And for backups, use the 3-2-1 rule. 3 copies of something in at least 2 physical places, and one of them needs to be located not where you work routinely. Have a backup plan. So what happens if your laptop dies right before a big presentation? Think about this a little bit in advance. Practice. It can be helpful. Can you access your files from a phone or a tablet? Do you have a friend or family member with a computer that you could borrow that would be okay to use? Check on that, because odds are your company may have some thoughts. Does your company have loaner laptops? Or is the expectation that you just might not be able to do your job for a certain period of time? Know those expectations. All right, tech support. Know who to call when things break. Your company should have an IT support number and or email. Your internet provider should have a support line. Your computer manufacturer also should have a support line. Keep those numbers saved on your phone. Don't just keep them on your computer, because if your computer breaks, it's difficult to look them up on the device. Common quick tips. 90% of tech problems are solved by the good old turn it off and turn it back on again solution. It's well known for a reason. Restart your computer. Check if it's plugged in and powered on. Check if your internet connection is stable. Sometimes clearing your browser cache will be useful. Update your software. That includes either Windows or Mac. Don't skip that step. For the tech friendly out there, that includes me, this section may not be as popular, but here's a trap that people do fall into. Tool addiction. There are thousands of productivity apps, communications tools, and fancy software that do really specific things very well. You do not need to use all of them. Start with what your company provides. Learn those tools well. Master the basics before you try to add more. Every new tool is another thing to check, another place that information lives, another login to remember. So more is not always better. Don't spend time on your productivity system that exceeds what you spend on actually being productive. It's a lesson I'm still learning, and I'm not great at it. I love designing systems, integrating new features, and seeing my system make life more efficient. But I have to be wary of falling into tools addiction and losing my ability to actually produce the quality work. Your tech stack should be as simplified as possible. Don't include things that do a single job well just so you can leverage a new tool. If it's faster and it produces the same or higher quality work, consider integrating it. If not, enjoy playing with it, but don't fall for burdening yourself with the duplicative or unnecessary integration of that tool. A little rule of thumb. Add tools only when you have a specific problem that needs solving. Not because something looks cool or a YouTuber recommended it, even if he is really cool and looks a little like me. Simple and reliable beats complex and overwhelming every single time. All right, here's your action item for today. Test your internet speed right now. Run a video call test. Most platforms have a test meeting option where you can check your audio and video, but go beyond that. Ask a friend or family member to do a test call with you. You can always invite someone for a quick virtual coffee grab. Make sure it works in the real world, as these built-in tests sometimes hide the more nuanced issues. Make sure everything actually works before you need it for something important. And if anything's not working well, fix it this week. Your tech setup is your foundation. Next episode, we're talking about communication, how to actually use all of these tools effectively. I'll see you then.